everyone. Welcome to Story Station by Words Alive. I'm Mr. Jim. So happy to be with you today. And today we're going to be reading Paper Planes by Jim Helmore. It's a delightful book with beautiful illustrations, and it's brought to us by our friends at the publishing house of Simon & Schuster. So before we begin, though, let's make sure we're all prepared to read by taking these circles and putting them around our eyes. So we're paying attention to the look of the book, and we're putting our C's, capping our ears to make sure we're listening to everything Mr. Jim reads to you. And from time to time, I may ask you a question. So we take that little switch on our voice box and we switch it on. Do you have it on? Good. So we're going to now sing our little song that gets us ready. It talks about a book, and it goes a little bit like this. The title's on the front. The title's on the front. Hi-ho, a biblio. The title's on the front. The author writes the words. The author writes the words. Hi-ho, a biblio, the author writes the words, and the illustrator draws. The illustrator draws. Hi-ho, a biblio, the illustrator draws. And the spine binds the book. The spine binds the book. Hi-ho, a biblio, the spine binds the book. And now it's time to read. And now it's time to read. Hi-ho, a biblio. Now it's time to read. Are you all set? Good. All right. Well, like I mentioned, our book today is Paper Planes by Jim Helmore. The beautiful illustrations are by Richard Jones. So they collaborated on this book together. This is a book about friendship. Do you have a lot of friends? Sometimes a friend moves away. And this book is about, well, how we get along after a good friend moves away. So let's begin. Mia and Ben were very best of friends. They lived side by side on the edge of a great wide lake, and they sailed together. So there they are in their boat, and swung and sang together. There they are, swinging on a tire swing. But what they loved doing most of all was making planes, paper planes. In the winter, Mia and Ben would race their planes with the geese above. Have you ever seen geese? Well, they're very prevalent in places like the Midwest, in the Northeast of America, and in Canada. And in the summer, they would climb into the hills and toss their planes down below, watching them glide home. Mia and Ben were determined to make a plane that could fly all the way across the lake. But it wasn't meant to be. Ben had terrible news. He was leaving. His family was moving to a new home a long way away. Mia and Ben were crushed. Here they are. How could they stay best friends if they were so far apart? They promised to never forget one another. And they swapped planes as they said their goodbyes. There they are. As the days passed, Mia missed Ben very much. She thought of him way over the sea, and wondered if he was lonely too. So we see in these pictures, though, Mia with the planes hanging in her window, and Ben far away over the sea, also looking out a window with paper airplanes strung up above the window. What do we think they were thinking? Maybe they were thinking about how much they missed each other. Winter came again. But when the geese returned this time, Mia had no one to race planes with. Hot tears fell from her eyes. Mia and Ben would never make a plane that could fly across the lake now. Mia took the plane Ben had given her and smashed it on the ground. She went to bed, feeling hurt and angry. That night, as moonlight crept across her bedroom floor, Mia heard something. Was it the wind? No, it was the sound of distant geese calling and powerful wings beating. Mia crept out of bed and spied something odd with her telescope in the garden below. Why, it was the plane she had smashed, as good as new. Mia hurried outside for a closer look. The swish and chatter of geese grew louder, and a wild wind began to blow. As the wind whipped around Mia's plane, it grew big enough to climb in. See the plane? Suddenly, a huge gust whisked Mia and her enchanted plane into the air, up across the lake and away. Climbing at terrific speed, Mia joined a flock of geese. Their silver feathers gleamed in the light of the moon as they rushed through the night. Up ahead, Mia spotted something familiar in the distance. Could it be? Yes, it was Ben, waving and smiling. Together they swooped and skimmed and soared. Mia wished she could stay forever, but as the sun began to rise, she knew it was time to go, and in the beat of a wing, Mia woke up and found herself back in her bedroom. So what happened to Mia there? Was it real, what happened? It was in her dreams. At breakfast time, a package arrived for her. Inside was a brand new plane, but it had no wings. There was also a note. I'll read it to you. It says, "Dear Mia, I really need your help to finish this. No one else can make wings like you do. Love, Ben." Ben also included some photos of where he lives and a picture. Mia remembered her dream with Ben and the geese. Ben might be far away, but that didn't mean Mia had lost him forever. So she sat down at her table and got to work on the wings Ben had asked for. Mia thought of the geese with their long necks stretching and their wide wings beating. And over the weeks, she worked and she worked and she worked. In the springtime, it was finally ready. Mia fixed her wings onto the plane Ben had sent her and went down to the water's edge. She threw the plane up in the air and it soared higher than any plane she and Ben had ever made. These wonderful illustrations. Here's the plane. It's hard to see because it's It's right with the geese, but it's right there. Mia and Ben could still make planes together, the best planes in the world, and they would always stay friends. For now, not even an ocean could keep them apart. And that's our beautiful story, Paper Planes, again by Jim Helmore, brought to us by our friends at Simon & Schuster Publishing. Thanks so much for allowing us to read this beautiful book at Story Station, and look forward to seeing you all next time.